Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Nisei Monogatari, but today I'm going to be checking out episode 2, and last time on episode 1, things picked up pretty good from where they left off with Bakemonogatari, with Araragi being kidnapped by Senjugahara, apparently. Yeah, apparently, Senjugahara kidnapped Araragi for vague, undisclosed reasons, saying that she wants to protect him from something that she didn't specify. And then of course she started to tease him a little bit using some water on her fingers and stuff like that. It was pretty run-of-the-mill for Senjugahara, if I'm being honest. But before all of that happened, Araragi was running into a different issue, in that he was concerned about telling his family what happened to him, about, turning into a vampire and then turning back into being human. He didn't know if it would be right to tell them, if it would freak them out, cause them stress, if he would just be putting his problems onto them. And as he was thinking about that, he happened to run into his old friend Mayoi, the ghost snail girl. And well, after they interacted the way that they always do every time they see each other, they did have a interesting discussion regarding that, with Mayoi concluding that it would not be the right thing to do to tell them. She was going off in this whole thing about it being potentially courageous to do so, but I'm not sure if she's exactly a fountain of wisdom. Is that a thing? A fountain of wisdom? If it's not, it should be, but it's not her. All in all, an interesting start to Nisei, perfectly continued from the themes and tone set by Bake, but one thing I gotta make note of is that last time there was those issues with the subtitles of them turning off whenever it would go to the opening and the ending for some reason. I've already gone ahead and resolved that. A few of you offered some alternate programs that I could use to play the episode so that I wouldn't have to worry about that, and I picked one of them, tested it out, works just fine. Not sure what the heck VLC was doing, not working that way, but I was intending to replace it anyway because there was already, lag issues with it, so it all worked out. But with that out of the way, we can get back to Nisei, and so far, none of that egregious fan service just yet that I had heard a little bit about. We're only one episode in, but on that note, I'd just like to say that when it comes to Bake's take on fan service, I thought I mentioned this during the Bake videos, but just in case I didn't, I'll say it now, in that I understood that the narrative purpose for a lot of that more fan servicey stuff that was present in Bake was because it was from Araragi's point of view. It was from his perspective, and Araragi, being Araragi, saw things a certain way, and it made sense from that perspective. I was aware of that, but I'm not sure how well that will stretch into Nisei. It'll probably continue along the lines of that, at least holding purpose for that reason, but even under that point of view, one might say they could still stretch it a little too far, if taken to an excess. But we'll see about that. Anyway, let's begin. Whoa, heavy metal. What I was quoting was supposed to be terrible, terrible death. Oh well, same thing. But, okay, yeah. Episode 2, an interesting one. Just Araragi continuing down the list of people he had met in Bake and reacquainting himself with them. And in case you had forgotten what the driving forces of their characters were, well, they made that abundantly clear here. And through the wonders of exposition, we now know a bit more about his sisters, the Hitagi sisters, the Fire Sisters, that they perceive themselves as not a force of justice, but a personification of it. He sees that probably as just a childish delusion, rather than based in any reality. And she certainly didn't seem to be proving herself very much when she said she was just doing community service, when it seemed like she was just walking on her hands across the street. And she would be the one who just turned 15, right? And if one was 15, it would actually put you in the middle of high school, rather than in middle school by US standards. So you could probably see where it's coming from a little bit when he's saying that she might need to grow up, and it could give her a bit of a bad look, a reputation, if you will. But hey, let her be true to herself. That's what matters the most. And we did briefly, vaguely get set up for a potential problem involving spiritual nonsense, in that they mentioned that a new, curse was spreading around, and that his sisters are on the case to try to find why it started spreading, through the guise of justice and all that. But of course, Araragi is probably a little worried that they might get mixed up in it in a bad way. Like what happened with the last curse that went around a bit, but that was only because she went about getting rid of it the wrong way. Otherwise, it wouldn't have escalated the way it did, but you never know. Not all curses even work the same. And without Oshino to help back him up, they might have a problem if things go awry. Yeah, I'd say if I'm gonna circle back to the fan service elements one more time, what happened in this episode was probably only like a stage or two beyond even, say, in early Bake, like with Senjugohara after, she had undressed around Araragi before. This was only, a few steps above that, for the most part, and again, the camera angles and where it was focused are explained away for a thematic purpose, being that it's from Araragi's eye, and Araragi being Araragi, a teenage boy, you get that that's where his eye line is going. But of course you could argue that even choosing to have it from that perspective is just an excuse to have fan service, but I don't think that's necessarily fair. But in my experience with fan service throughout reacting to anime, this is not the most egregious, so far anyway, Not even close. At least it's got something. At least they're trying to give it narrative and thematic purpose. And I'd say that it does serve as that. It definitely does not feel like it's shoehorned in, entirely devoid of purpose. There are plenty of times in other animes that I've reacted to where it is just there for no reason at all, other than for fan service. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. That would be great. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Let me know what you thought of the episode itself. Let me know your guys' take on Nisei Monogatari's use of fan service and how it may suit the show from a more thematic perspective. Or if maybe you think that it does not, and it's just completely devoid of purpose, well, I'd like to hear that perspective as well. Plenty of people seem to have it. But we've only just begun. This is the tip of the iceberg for Nisei Monogatari, only episode 2, and there's like 11 or so, and this arc feels like it's only just barely begun. Like, this is going to be the 3rd part next time, and we're still not even in the bulk of the problem. There's a lot to think about here. So yeah, next time is Karen B, Part 3. Hope to catch you guys there, but till then, I will see you guys later.